So my question, I'm just a little confused. Like, you guys said you like wanted a lot of unity, but you're still denying people. You're still allowing people to be denied marriage because of their sexuality, and I just think that's a really big like, hole in your logic. So I just want you to explain that a little more.
Sure. So I have a hard time explaining it because I disagree with it. I mean, agree with you, but I disagree with the position in the denomination. And at the same time, part of what I recognize is 20 years ago, people saw things very differently. Maybe you didn't, but your parents or others saw things very differently. And the question is, how does change happen? Now, change happens by some people saying, I can't be a part of this and I'm leaving. And it happens with some by spending time getting to know people, building relationships. We have 800 gay and lesbian members in our congregation. My invitation for them is I want people in our congregation who came from more conservative backgrounds to hear your story. I want them to know you. And that's where change happens. And so it would be very easy to say, you know what, I'm going to take those of you who agree with me and we're all going to go form another church and then leave all of you who disagree to be even more adamant in your disagreement. Or I can continue to be in dialogue and conversation and look at the things that we do agree upon and then look to see how might that dialogue, conversation, and experience actually bring about change. And that's, depending on where you live, you can live in communities where you're surrounded by people who agree with you on this particular question. But many people live in communities where not everybody does agree. And so finding out, we either separate from them or we find some way to continue in dialogue and conversation, focus on relationships, and we find that change happens. And what I'm convinced of is that in the next 8 years, 12 years, that change is going to happen across the denomination. That's an exceedingly long period of time if you're gay or lesbian in our churches. And but in the course of human history, it's a pretty small period of time for massive social change. And that's what's happened when it comes to LGBTQ questions in our society. That's changed at a rapid, massive rate. But it's still, how do you stay in conversation with people to bring about change? Or it's a legitimate strategy to say, we're just going to leave and we hope that so shakes you up that you say, I got to see this differently.